Oh, great. That's very soon. Uh,
Yeah.
are you done with your packing, all of that?
Yeah, I think I'm almost done. Just need to pack my mind now.
I understand. So you are attending Rutgers for quantitative finance, right?
Yes, yes.
Great. So, for whoever is in, hi guys. This is Akila. I had master's division at Gradvine. Snigdha here was a student with us and now is back on our platform as a mentor. She's going for her MS in quantitative finance degree to Rutgers University for this fall intake. Let's wait for a couple more minutes for people to join in and then we can start.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snigdha. So, why don't we, so before, I would want to discuss with you the flow of the stock, so that, you're also aware of it.
Okay.
So let's start off with, your UG. What did you do in your UG? And then your internships, work experience, if any, and then why did you decide on doing a master's? How did your entire prep start? About like what was the first thing you did? When did you decide to do your master's? And then how was your application process? And then how did you receive your admits?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So starting off with where was your schooling? Where was your plus one, plus two? What did you take in your plus one, plus two? And yeah, what was your undergrad in?
I did my schooling. So basically, I'm from Mumbai. There's a
Mm-hmm.
small place in Mumbai called Thane. So I belong from Thane. So I did my plus one, plus two from Mumbai. I was in R.E. Podar College of Commerce and Economics. So my undergrad
Mm-hmm.
was Bachelor in Commerce, a Bachelor of Commerce. And during my undergrad, I had made up my mind that I want to pursue CA. So it was alongside my undergrad that I was doing CA. So,
Mm-hmm.
as there are three levels of CA, that is foundation, inter, and final. So, I managed to clear the final level in the very second attempt. So, it was like very quick for me. There is an articleship of 3 years, which we do during our
Mm-hmm.
CA curriculum. So I completed my articleship from Deloitte Haskins and Sells LLP. It's a big four, so it was pretty good for me at that point in time. So 3 years I was interning with them at their Mumbai office. Then post qualification as a CA, I started working as a full-time employee with Tata Communications. So I worked there for around 1.5 years. So just a few days back, I had my last day here. So yeah. During
Um,
when I was working with Tata Communications, I had it in my mind that I do want to pursue something else as well. I don't want to stop at just
mm-hmm.
being a CA and I want to take up further studies as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to explore international opportunities, move abroad. So I started looking out for options, and I knew a senior who was moving for her MSF program to UIUC. So I got into touch with her. I discussed ideas with her about what options do I have as a commerce student, and then I reached out to Gradvine because it was not easy to manage my job and then the GRE studies and also the preparation of my resume, LOR, and everything. So I started consulting Gradvine for my master's program. I had a couple of universities in my mind. The main reason for pursuing masters was because I wanted to move abroad and explore new opportunities. So, while during the consultation, Gradvine really helped me to shortlist the universities in first place. because there comes an application cost with the applications, right? So you cannot like
Correct.
apply to n number of universities. You have to stop somewhere and analyze your best options of getting shortlisted there. So I applied to 6 universities, and
Mm-hmm.
I confused between the Masters in Finance program and Masters in Quantitative Finance program. Uh, so I try to evaluate what options and what career opportunities will be available after I graduate in from both the courses. And I started comparing the curriculum for both the courses. So the Masters in Finance course was somewhat similar to what I had learned during my CA curriculum. I was more interested in quant trading and subjects which are related to quant. So I felt that the quantitative finance program would be the best course for me. So that's how I started shortlisting the universities. But somewhere I had in my
Mm-hmm.
mind that MSF is like a safe option for me. So I did apply to some
Mm-hmm.
universities where MSF was also available.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the process started. Then I prepared for the GRE and TOEFL. I appeared for them.
Mm-hmm.
In the meanwhile, Gradvine was consulting me with the process of preparing my resume, my essays, and stuff. So it took about, I think, 4 or 5 months to complete the entire process. And then I started making applications. So I think only apart from only one university, I could manage to apply in the early applications for all the other universities. And then I started getting the shortlists. So I got shortlisted from Boston College, University of Rochester, UIUC, and
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers. Like Rutgers had the quantitative finance program, which was one of the best options that were available to me at that point. I
Mm-hmm.
also had like I was put on the wait list to UT Austin, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. So
Mm-hmm.
I accepted the admit of Rutgers, and that's how I got the shortlist.
Got it. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that info. So again, I think you were working full time when you started the entire process of prepping for your GRE, or working on your application essays or whatever. So to start off with, how did you manage your time to actually prepare for your GRE? Considering you are from a non-engineering background, quant also must have been uh, I wouldn't say challenging, because again you gave CA and you cleared CA. But how did you manage?
It was only then when I realized that I have little time left and I have too much on my plate to do. So I used to wake up early in the morning. I used to prepare. So my target was to give at least 2 hours every day to the GRE prep, because as I started preparing, I realized my weakness is not quant, but my weakness is the verbal part, because the vocabulary which the GRE demands is like huge. And if you don't know the meaning of the word, then the sentence won't make any sense to you. So
Correct.
there was this 1,000 words list which I had, which I used for preparing. So I used to every day I used to go through like 10 words each day to like, at least not maybe exactly know the meaning, but at least I used to try to find out some way by which I can figure out what the word means, at least if it's positive,
Hmm.
negative, or something of that sort.
Hmm.
So I used to wake up early in the morning, prepare for like 1.5 hour, and then I used to travel to office. So fortunately, I had a hybrid culture in my office, so I didn't have to go to office every day. Like I used to go to
Mhm.
office twice or thrice a week. So I
Mhm.
was able to manage some time for my studies as well. And during the break times, I used to like use apps for GREs wherein you can solve quick puzzles or maybe like solve quick sentences. So like before the office and after the office, I used to try to like at least make 1 or 2 hours each day. And of course, I had to like put in more efforts during the weekends, because that is the time when you actually feel like you want to chill for some time, because the week is exhausting. So yeah, you I did sacrifice a lot of my weekends, and I did go out with my friends to prepare for the GRE and TOEFL.
Got it. I know working and then preparing, it's
Yeah.
really hard. So what are the different resources that you have utilized for GRE and TOEFL IELTS, whatever TOEFL you took? So, what are the different resources did you used, and did you like sign up for any of the coaching services? How was it, or did you use all the available sources online?
So for my GRE prep, I had used Magoosh resource. I think it was pretty good. They have different subscription plans, and I feel it is quite reasonable also. So I had
Mm-hmm.
subscribed for the 3 months plan. The best part of the plan
Okay.
is that even if you want to stop your prep for a certain period of time, you can pause the subscription and then again like
Mm-hmm.
continue the subscription from where you had left off, so you don't even lose the time which you are putting in for the preparation. And pretty much, I think their subscription was very much detailed and comprehensive. They would explain all the concepts, and then there were exercises based. There were several mocks also, and they had a huge number of like there was a good set of questions which I which was available to me to solve before I could go for the exam.
Okay.
Also, the Magoosh application has a very good feature in which, based on the questions you have answered, like if it is correct or incorrect, they will help you calculate a predictive score of your GRE. And to
Okay.
my surprise, during the end, like not if in the early stages it won't make any sense because the more the number of questions you solve, the more accuracy it has. So during the
Mm-hmm.
end of my preparation, the score which it was showing me, it shows a range, and my
Mm.
GRE score was just between that range. So the prediction which the application had made was pretty much on point. And
Great.
yeah, like it was a comprehensive, like it had the quant, the verbal, and also the writing part which we have. So it had everything. And for TOEFL, I didn't really use any resource. When I
Mm-hmm.
had registered for the TOEFL, they had some 3 or 4 free mocks.
Mm.
So I just appeared
Correct.
for that, and the base which I had used for preparing GRE verbal, I think that
Mm.
was good enough for the TOEFL as well.
Correct. I completely agree. Once you're prepared for GRE, I don't think TOEFL is like a very big deal.
Yeah,
So, may I know what was your GRE score?
my GRE score was 312.
Great. And how many months of prep did it take for you to get to a 312 score?
I think I prepared for around 3 months, 3.5 months.
Great. Okay. So when did you actually start shortlisting your universities? Was it after giving your GRE, or was it while prepping for your GRE?
I believe that first I need to set a goal and then try to achieve it. So I shortlisted my universities first, and I researched
Hmm.
about their class profiles, like what is the average GRE
Hmm.
score, what is the average TOEFL score, what is the profile of the students who have been admitted to that university. And
Mm-hmm.
then I set a goal that okay, I need to have this score if I want to get shortlisted in these universities. So
Mm-hmm.
I did some research about the universities prior to getting the consultation from Gradvine, but
Mm-hmm.
pretty much it was the same universities. Like I think there were only some different universities which Gradvine suggested, but apart from that,
Mm-hmm.
based on my profile, the universities which Gradvine had suggested were like the same. So
Mm.
I started my research of the universities prior to the GRE, but yeah, I kind of made the final shortlist only after I had the GRE score in my hand.
Got it. But did you think it was actually helpful for you to have at least 80% of the universities shortlisted before giving the GRE? Having said that, you also have four. You can submit your scores to four schools for free, which I think is a huge relief considering financial situations, right? Like
Yeah,
it's almost $28 to send additional
yes.
scores to one university. So,
Yeah, before going to the exam, I had decided that if I get this score, I will send my
yeah.
scores to these universities. If I don't get this score, or if I get maybe lesser than this, then I won't maybe send to this university. I'll think about it later. So I had like six
Mm.
universities on my mind. So when I got the score,
Mm-hmm.
I was honestly very satisfied with the score I had because it was roughly the range on which I think that I would land up. So when I got the score,
Mm.
I knew that okay, I have to send it to all the universities which I had shortlisted for. So yeah, I think it is based on like your prediction, and I feel that once you start preparing and once you give the mocks, you will be able to
Hmm.
figure out that what will your score be. It won't come
Hmm.
out like surprise to you. So yeah, I think the prep and the Magoosh feature of that prediction of the GRE score, it was, I think, a great thing.
Yeah. I'm glad that it worked out. So yeah, I think GRE university shortlist, all of this is done. So for masters in finance, okay, before I get there, guys, if you have any questions, please drop your questions in the comment section. I'll have Snigdha answer them for you. Yeah, meanwhile, I was talking about the essays, right? So for masters in finance, masters in quantitative finance, I'm very sure that there's no one single SOP required. Like every university will have different prompts, and then you'll have to answer each prompt differently. It's not going to be like one single SOP that you use for different that you use for all of the universities that you wish to apply to. So what was the strategy there? Like, how did you actually start working? Because I know it's quite overwhelming if one university requires two different essays. If you're applying to five, then it's like literally 10 different essays. So, how did you get started on that?
So I had this thing on my mind that the base story of my essay is going to be the same in each of the
Hmm.
universities. Because ultimately,
Hmm.
the preliminary things which I'm talking about in my essay won't change, irrespective of what university it is. Because the
Correct.
choice of stream which I had made was the same, like it was not much different. But of course, the since I had made the choice for MSF and MS, like quantitative finance as well, the essay had to be altered to a great extent based on the curriculum and what the course demands from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, my base idea was to prepare a big essay which will comprehensively cover
Hmm.
everything that is required as my
Hmm.
story. And then the
Hmm.
Gradvine mentor used to help me out to figure out what parts should be kept out of that and what parts need to be added. So, like I
Correct.
used to go to the university's website. I used to see the subjects, what they are, what they have to offer,
Hmm.
and then maybe like a few subjects on which I am deeply interested. I would reach out to the
Mm-hmm.
students who are currently studying in the university. I would gain
Mm-hmm.
some information about the clubs or some activities which they have done in the university pertaining to certain subjects, and then I would like try to bring that out and relate to my story or my experience and then put it out in my essay. So I think in this,
Mm-hmm.
the Gradvine mentor helped me a lot because she
Mm-hmm.
literally she took out a lot of time to pinpoint like what is required and what is not required in the essay. Because many a
Mm-hmm.
times I feel that we write too much. We write stuff that is not really required by that university or which will not really
Hmm.
add any value to my presentation. So,
Hmm.
yeah, in talking about two essays, I think all the universities which I applied to had one essay. Only one university had two essays, and the other
Hmm.
essay which they were demanding was a diversity essay. So,
Correct.
I took some time to first process like what diversity essay demands, and the Gradvine mentor
Mm-hmm.
helped me to figure out like all these things are necessary. You are not really going to
Mm-hmm.
talk about your academic achievements or your experience, but you have to talk about it's more on a social front rather than your professional front. So you have to bring
Mm-hmm.
out the other part of you and not the professional thing which you
Correct.
have inside you. So yeah, it was it. I used to like stay up at 12:30 and 1 in the night, and like if some idea comes to my mind, I used to get up and note it down in my phone so that I don't forget it the next morning. So yes, the process of writing essays was like very lengthy, I would say, because uh, the first essay took a lot of time, but after that it was still a little quicker. But the base essay did
Mm-hmm.
take a lot of time.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, again, I think if you have like one base draft first ready, then different prompts can be tackled, like, by adding, deleting certain parts of it. Yeah, okay. I think SOPs is something that we spoke about right now. Coming to the LORs, right? You've done your undergrad and then, you have interned for like 3 years and then you joined full time. So, did your program require two LORs, three LORs? And did you take how many academic and how many professional did you take?
So most of the universities required one professional and one academic LOR. Only
Mm-hmm.
UIUC has this requirement of three LORs. So it
Mm.
is based on like if you are a student, then of course all the three LORs would be academic. But if you are a professional, like in my case, my work experience was pretty much on the higher side. Like in
Correct.
like even though it was not a full-time job, but 3 years at Deloitte internship, like I feel that I had spent most of my time at Deloitte rather than at my college. So,
Mm.
the mentor suggested me that I take two LORs from my like from the professional on the professional front and one LOR on the academic front. So I had gotten one LOR from my college professor, and the other one was from Deloitte. And I think I had taken two LORs from Deloitte itself because I had
Mm.
spent a lot of time there. People knew me, and on a like
Okay.
even after like qualification, I did have like kept in touch with them, so it was much easier to get coordinated with them.
Okay. So was from your college and two was from Deloitte. You did not take anything from Tata.
No, 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 I didn't.
Okay. Great. So from when did you start receiving your admits?
The first admit I received was in November month. That was from Vanderbilt University. But I didn't get selected into that course. So the actual admits, like when I got an
Mm.
admit, was in the month of January, because all the other
Okay.
universities had their deadline somewhere in December end or something like that. So the admits started coming in January, and January and February was full. Like during that time, all the universities were coming out with
Yeah.
their admits. The
Mm-hmm.
most late admit which I got, like the decision which I got was from UT Austin. The decision came in pretty late. I think it came somewhere around in April. So by
Okay.
the time because I had already had that hinge in my mind that maybe I'm not going to make it to UT Austin. I had already started my process with Rutgers, and I
Mm-hmm.
was in the process of my visa interviews when I got the decision of UT Austin.
Okay. Okay. So may I know what all universities did you get in and how did you actually finalize Rutgers?
So I had an admit from UIUC, Boston College,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
University of Rochester, that is a Simon Business School, and Rutgers. I had like four admits.
Mm-hmm.
The course of Boston College was 11 months. So I
Mm-hmm.
felt that I might not get a chance to intern during the
Mm-hmm.
curriculum. And on
Mm-hmm.
discussion with a senior, she said that if you feel that you want to intern, then it's best that you take a little longer duration course. So
Correct.
that's how I decided that I won't be taking the admit of Boston College. Even though they were like
Mm-hmm.
offering me a good amount of scholarship, but I thought that it's much better to go for a little lengthy course.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a choice like between UIUC and University of Rochester. So
Mm-hmm.
UIUC had a very good program, but the thing was that I was looking for subjects which I had not learned in the past. So like econometrics, like quantitative trading, and stochastic calculus, all of those subjects were available in Rutgers curriculum. So I felt that if I am like taking up a step towards my masters, I should learn something else also. It should add some value to my knowledge and not just like
Mm-hmm.
revision of subjects which I had already studied during my CA curriculum.
Correct.
So I felt that the MSF program was a little would not add that much value to my knowledge than MQF program. So that's why I decided that I would be going with the Rutgers admit and not UIUC and Rochester.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for all of that information, Snigdha. I don't see any questions. I hope people do not have any questions. So yeah, before we end this, I just want to from your experience and you have been through the entire application cycle, right from GRE preparation until receiving your visa and all of that. So for someone applying for fall 24 intake, I know it's high time they start with the process, but what do you think an ideal timeline should look like?
I think even if they don't start the process of the applications or preparation of applications, I think it's okay, but they do have to start their prep for GRE somewhere around in June or July. Because
Mm-hmm.
it sometimes it takes time to realize that you are weak at a particular subject or you're weak at a particular concept a little late. Like I had planned my GRE in the month of September, but just like 2 weeks before I had planned the date. I had fortunately not booked a slot for the exam, but that was the
Hmm.
time when I realized that my weakness is verbal, not quant. Like the entire time I
Correct.
was fearing that maybe my weakness is quant and I'm good at verbal, but when I appeared for the mocks, it just came out to be reverse. And then when I
Hmm.
started self-analyzing, I realized that, oh no, like I was actually following the wrong strategy. So then I
Hmm.
changed my strategy and then I appeared in November. So I feel that
Hmm.
the process of applications like getting your transcripts and building up your resume and essays, it's like a process. It will take some time. So
Hmm.
while you're preparing for GRE, you should simultaneously also start working on all of those things which you require for a
Hmm.
college application. But for GRE,
Hmm.
I think one must give at least 3 or 4 months time to prepare properly. Like if
Hmm.
you otherwise, like I appeared for GRE only once. I didn't appear for the second time. So like some
Hmm.
people do appear twice or thrice as well. Like
Hmm.
if they are not satisfied with the score. But I think it's better to like give one shot and give your best attempt in the very first one. So 3 or 4 months time is required to prepare properly. And as far as the college applications is concerned, it's a process. It will take time. No one is going to give you transcripts the very next day, and you won't be able to get the perfect resume or the essay in 2 days. You'll have to put a lot of thought in that. So somewhere like I think if someone is planning for the next fall, then right now is the time when they should like buckle up and start their process like as soon as possible.
Hmm. Correct. I 100% agree because deadlines are usually in the month of December and January.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure you applied to most of the colleges in their
Yes.
early deadline rounds. So did you think that was an advantage? Did you think applying early, you got an like you actually got in a lot of admits. I think except UT Austin, you got into most of the
Yeah.
universities you applied to. So do you think applying early was an advantage for you?
I think definitely because I got an admit early. I could start my visa process early. I could start
Correct.
the other formalities that are required early. I could search for an apartment little earlier than others. So all these things might not like give you direct benefit, but yes, like monetary benefit it gives me a lot. Like I had the option to find an apartment. I had a lot of time when the seniors started moving out after graduation. I could actually like reach out to them saying that if you have the apartment vacant, like I would like to have it. So it gives you a lot
Hmm.
of time to process all these things because no one would reply to you the very next day. So
Correct.
yeah, and the most important part was the visa process. Like I got an admit early, so I could apply for the visa early. So by the time I resigned from my current role, I already had the visa in my hand. So that was one
Hmm.
thing like which scares me a little. Like if what if my visa doesn't get approved? Then if I resign, I will be left with no job and like no visa also to travel.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yes,
Hmm.
I think starting the process early is definitely an advantage, and I don't think it would harm you in any way.
Great. Yes, thank you so much for all of that information, Snigdha. It was great talking to you, and having you sharing experiences is really, uh, I would say, very very informative. Like right from how you prep for your GRE while working until how you applied and all of that. So yeah. Do you have anything else to talk about before we leave?
No, I think pretty much everything was covered. I would like to wish all the aspirants all the best for the GRE and the prep that is coming up for the college applications.
Yeah, I hope everyone, achieves whatever their dream schools are. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Nigda. Have a great travel and travel safely, of course. We are more than happy to have you on our platform as a mentor. Looking forward to working with you. And yeah, thank you. All the best for your grad school.
Thank you. Thanks, Akila. Thanks, Nilesh.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.